So what's the date today? We have status, we have demos, lots of demos, and we have topics. Demos, Antoine, how many? 20? 25?
1.
What?
Maybe 2.
Nicholas. Nick, how many demos?
None.
Jasmin.
Maybe next week.
Okay. Matthias, you did the demo last week. Do you need a new one? No.
How many do you have, Sebastian?
Oh, 25. And Siaman, I could ask you for a demo, but then maybe Antoine's demo is yours plus his. So yes, okay. No demo. Topics release. Actually, Nick will explain what's the plan for the release. Good. Let's start with the status. I hate this window. I want to see everyone and also see that. So, okay, I need to open. Oh, I will do it from my machine, which is already open. Can you see my machine? Does it work? Yes, I can see my thing.
Yeah, I can see it now.
So 7 days, it's like many pages ago. 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, and I look at that, all these branches. It's because of Antoine. So this we don't care, we'll see the merge. This is a PR from Chris about supporting, oh, we already talked about it last week, sorry. This one, we don't care. Can I just look at dev actually, and this way I will look at the PRs later. Dev, okay, much better. So what was merged? 4 days ago, fixes BackgroundTaskService.Terminate. Okay, let's trust him on this one. Make SQLLite the default SQL provider. So this is new now. When you go to the setup screen, the default selected entry is SQLLite. This way you won't have to switch to SQLLite every time you set up a site, because this is what most people use here for testing. And you also managed to implement the, if it requires double prefix or not, which means when you select SQLLite, there won't be a connection string text box and no table prefix. So that's all good. Password feature in users module. Oh yeah, reset password that has been merged. So now you can reset your password. I haven't tried it, I should. But you can reset the password now. You can also edit the owner of a content item once the content item has been created from Antoine. Then again from Antoine, Autoroute, Permalink, display, Site.BaseUrl, and view button. So I don't think you kept the view button, did you? No, the text, yeah, it was the PR was created before this change. So there is no view button, but we can still see the base URL now in the Autoroute editor.
And I remove the view button.
Yeah, so let's not talk about it because there is nothing. I update the theme to Bootstrap 4 and we need to do some changes on this one because I don't agree with some of the changes. I got tricked when I merged the PR, like these things. And it's even worse, it's in the theme now. Oh my god. Why you change the theme? What are you doing with the theme? You should do nothing with this one. Nobody should use it.
I did Bootstrap first, so
Okay, and that? That's not Bootstrap 4. This one may be okay if it's in Bootstrap, and okay, let's see. Logging menu. Okay. I'll look at that. Fix the query error in SQL Query admin. Yep, some of it could be null, so now it's checking for that. If there is no element, then it won't fail. For the SQL connection, I assume. No, this is for editing the queries. CreatedUtc datetime editor. So now you can edit the CreatedUtc property of content item. Okay. Update CommonPart-Date.Edit. This is a fix on this one, which was missing one name change. Remove dependency on identity, not identity. The idea was that we don't need to reference the identity package, but we can just use the abstraction we already have, as long as the abstraction is extended with this thing, get user async. The goal is that you don't have to know that when you load a user that it's coming from the user manager from the ASP.NET Identity library. Just a simple abstraction, which this one might change over time. Not sure we need everything, but so far that's what we have. Tenants configurable from the app. This is a huge one. Look at how many files have changed. Okay, so this one I will demo. The idea being that we can configure more things from the host application at the tenants level. You will see. A little cleanup. Missing update over bad merge. Okay, then replace app use module by use app. Why do we have so many commits here? Oh, this is documentation. Yep, because we forgot to update documentation. Update dependencies of props. So Antoine updated all the libraries that we depend on, and I ordered everything by in alphabetical order. So next time it might be easier for merges, because there were some merge conflicts here. Test unit. Okay, unit test. Okay. Missing committed merge. Okay. Then Chris fixing the Request.Form property in Liquid because it could fail. Then huge commit again. This one for .NET Core App 2.1. So now we are using .NET Core 2.1, which can be seen here. Okay, the libraries still target net standard 2.0, which means .NET Core 2.0 and 2.1. But the application itself requires the runtime 2.1. And also I did something. This thing, let's try it by default using tiered compilation, which, so if you look at the, yeah, I'm not sure where I did that in the Docker image. So the best performance will be enabled if you enable the if you disable cross-gen, and there is an environment variable to define. But this option is a compromise between startup time and performance, because if you disable cross-gen, then you get a much slower startup time, but much faster runtime of your application. With this option, it's a good startup time and a good, pretty good startup time and a pretty good throughput of the application. So I enable that by default. In the future, the net release, it might be the default whatsoever. So that's a good default to have, in my opinion. And I think that's it, and we'll see all the changes. This is for the other branch I will show, but later. Then I fixed the Docker image because I forgot to update the Docker image. Then lots of changes on SQL. So this one contains like 5 bug fixes, and this one another one for PostgreSQL. So changes on SQL based on feedback, just bug fixes. This one from Jean-Thierry, to hide the connection string if SQLLite is preselected. So I also merged a pull request about that, which is here. I will show you. This is when we add the tenants now, that there is some changes based on the default values that we set for the database. Update on ImageSharp, documentation from Antoine about resources, about menu, about Autoroute, about placement, new date field from Antoine. That is just a date, not a date and time, just a date, and the date meaning there is no time zone implied. So when you set 6th of June, then it will be 6th of June and nothing else, even whatever the time zone is. This is to render a date that is fixed in time. So it's not a point in time, it's a date. And now we have a date time, which is a point in time, a moment, that will vary by time zone, a time which doesn't change by time zone, and a date which doesn't change by time zone. Media UI, I just merged it from Matthias. He showed it last week. Lots of improvements on the media management, drag and drop, and so on. Bulk editor and so on. Fixing preset tenant setup I will show, and adding default tenant only on feature manifest based on an issue that was triaged to prevent a feature from being enabled outside of the default tenant. For instance, the tenants management can only be enabled by the default tenant. Okay, new feature, Nick, you will tell if you agree or not. Not sure you saw that. The new metadata on the feature info.
So other tenants can't create other tenants, it's only the master tenant.
Yes, well, they can if they have a module to do so, but the tenants feature is set up so that only the default tenant can enable it. You can create your own feature that is enabled everywhere, but this one that we made, we say no, just for the default tenant.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Demos, Antoine, you showed the content, I assume. Content thing.
I'm sorry, but I don't manage to launch my solution anymore. No, I cannot make a demo right now.
Okay. So I will demo what I have to demo, and we'll see after. Otherwise, I will pull your branch. We'll see what it looks like. I haven't tried. So if I go back there, so what can I show? So I'm on dev branch. First, the big refactoring for the manageability of tenants from the main application. So this is the main application, the only web application, OrchardCore.Cms.Web, CS Proj. And what is inside is so the program CS, we don't care. This is a standard default program CS, which is called also use nlogweb for logging. And in the startup, we have add OrchardCMS like before, and use OrchardCore, which is different than use modules, which was before. So add OrchardCMS itself, and this is kind of new. Maybe if you have never
Why did we move away from Why do we move away from use modules?
It's also multi-tenancy and other things. It's not just use modules. So the OrchardCore is the framework. So let's use the framework. That's the idea.
Okay.
So look at, well, maybe I assume you haven't seen that then because you didn't comment before. Autoroute.CMS. Now we have add MVC. So these things is almost the same as before, but how it's done is different. So add commands, which will add the comments, and everything which is behind add OrchardCore, because it returns an OrchardCore builder, will be for mostly tenants configuration. But you can do everything you want. So add MVC is not the add MVC for the ASP.NET. This is our own OrchardCore builder add MVC. And if I go on the definition, which is in the MVC core package, this thing will register a custom startup. Okay. Before, we didn't have add MVC. We had an MVC module, which will register all the MVC thing from its own startup. Okay. But we needed a module for the startup class in this module to be evaluated at the tenant level. Now with this refactoring, we can register a custom startup at a tenant level. So for each tenant, even if we don't have a module. So with this refactoring, we don't have the MVC module anymore. There is no more OrchardCore.MVC module. There is still a package that contains helpers, but it's not a module anymore. We don't have to enable, disable it, or depend on that. We just say the application has MVC. Okay, and the startup is almost the same startup as before in the module. It's just that now we don't need a module to register a startup. Okay, so this is enabling all the MVC elements we need. So this way you can also create your own MVC registration that will add custom things as you want. The same way for data access, maybe not. We still have a data, I think, thing, but there are some other modules that could be removed, like for instance data protection. I think there was a module and now it's no more the case. So we can configure data protection at the tenant level. So there are two ways to register things at the tenant level. Either use a startup class, like any module will have, any application will have, okay, which is the easy way, in my opinion. It's a more component way, and you can define configure services and configure, so for services and for middlewares. And you can also, from the builder, let me show you with data protection, you can from the builder call configure services and then pass a lambda that will be evaluated on each tenant. Okay. So if you don't want to create a startup file to initialize a tenant, you can also just run specific lambdas that will be executed at the tenant level for each tenant when they are started. You can also define the setup features which will be enabled, so the set of features that will be enabled when you go into the setup of the tenant, like the default tenant is evaluated. And now we just need setup. We don't need to add anything else like recipes and everything, because the setup depends on recipes. And same thing for all the other ones. Like if I go to add caching, you see configure services. So we don't need a custom module. We can directly call lambdas for that. And feel free to do your own configuration for your own applications. And the use OrchardCore, I don't think has changed a lot. No. That's the main changes here. So we have less modules, and you don't have to create modules if you just want to configure things at the tenant level. Well, if you wanted to configure things at the tenant level, you had to create modules. Now you don't have to. So, like you want to add a custom distributed cache implementation for your tenants, you don't have to create a custom module. You can just go in your application and configure it from the startup and do .configure and pass a startup, or configure and just call a lambda. Okay.
Can you do that before anyway? At least I was doing that.
I'm not sure.
If you remember correctly, remember how my demo I showed you a while ago? I was doing that exactly.
I don't think you could define custom services for at the tenants level from the host application, because we created two issues for that. I can show you the issues. So, and when you commented on the PR, I think you commented on one part of the PR. This is implementing actually what Kevin suggested, because he was blocked when implementing the data protection thing. He needed a module, or to add it in an existing module. And now we can do it from the host application. You could not do that, because remember, we only resolve the startup class, the iStartup interface, when we start building the container for each tenant. And to do that, we needed startup classes. We had to have startup classes, because iStartup, this is the only way we will do that, right?
I'm not convinced. I'm going to have a look at my project. I'm pretty sure that I was able to register services.
Okay, look at that. Look at that. Remember this code?
Yeah, I remember that code.
And look, so when we resolve all the iStartup, to execute them, okay, for each tenant. And this is the only way to register services at the tenant level. The only way.
No, you had services.add modules, and then inside that you could configure the service.
No, you will add modules. You will, and that's what I'm saying. You had modules. You needed modules.
It just doesn't seem as loosely coupled as it used to. That's all.
Well, you just iStartup. You just have an iStartup. So what we do is, when we call configure services, we create a mock startup that will contain one lambda for a configure service. That's it. So it's registering a startup, an iStartup implementation that just executes a configure services. And this could not be done before, because we didn't have this class that implements iStartup that will be resolved here. So I'm sure that we had to have a module. Example, why did we have an MVC module then? Just for a startup. You see, we had to have a module, MVC module. The common module that we needed to register many things, we had a OrchardCore.Common module. We had to have a module, because we needed to be run at every tenant level, and we need a module for that. Now these modules don't exist anymore. Just saying. You'll see. But that works. Yeah.
I like that we got rid of the common module.
But we could not before, because we could not register tenant level services without a module.
To do that, have a look inside the chat window.
What you could do is register singletons at the main container level, and these singletons will be available also in the tenants, because we copied them. But that's it, just singleton services. That's the only thing we could add. Now you can even configure options from the host application that will be applied to the tenant level.
Okay.
I don't know how we would have done that before. Well, it's in GitHub, we can still look, but I don't think so. So that's it for this change. The 2.1 stuff should not change many things. So this one was a breaking change. We'll have to call different methods. 2.1 should not break anything. Well, you will need to install 2.1. That's it. But that should be all. There were change. Oh yeah. So what also Chanteri did is that he made the application behave like a module also, and be available as a module. And this allows to have controllers and templates and shapes inside the main application that will be used. So you can customize templates for your applications now. You don't need to create a theme module or a theme to customize the templates. You can have everything as part of your application. So that's an improvement also, some more flexibility. Now we did that. And I think that's it. Now if we run it, let me delete what I have here. Add modules, and then let me see, configure service. So we had that.
Yeah, I showed you it, and you could do services.add singleton or add scoped or whatever. We already had that.
How did it work? Look at the implementation. How is it hooked into the iStartup thing?
How was it hooked into iStartup?
Yeah.
You didn't need to. I don't remember. I'll have to have a look at that, but it worked beautifully.
Okay.
But okay.
So started. So you see SQLLite is a default, and when we open SQL Server, for instance, we see the connection string table prefix. I will just use SQLLite for now. Everything is the same here. So demo.
Oh, default time zone. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, Jasmine did that. So now we have time zone in the setup and it's time zone in the settings, and it's supported in all the datetime editors, and in the startup also with the default one here. And it's using no datetime because we need standard time zone IDs and not system-based ones or system-dependent ones.
Still stored with UTC, yeah?
Yeah, we always store everything in UTC, always.
Okay. Good.
And there is a new, because you didn't see that, there is a new iLocal clock, which is like iClock, but with helpers to get time zones and render times in local.
I have seen that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So iClock is a singleton, and iLocal clock is a scoped one because it depends on the time zone selector. So we have and also we have a default time zone selector, which is new compared to Orchard one, that will get it from the settings, and a user time zone selector, so each user can have their own time zone.
Sexy. I like it.
So this is a default tenant. So if I go to admin, I will see the tenants module. Well, I will be able to enable the tenants module, which contains then the new feature that ensures that this one can only be enabled from or disabled from the main tenant. So I have tenants, and now if I try to create a new tenant, so the new thing is that database presets none. So I will give it a name, test1. And if I select, for instance, SQLLite, I can create one. And if I go on the test one, I can't change the database, okay, because it has been defined at the when we created a tenant. So it's defined, so we can't change it. Okay, that's the new thing, and it still works. And I created this one. Okay, with a nice new template. Antoine. Kind of preferred the previous one. I could see the message.
Yeah, I see the
branch.
Another PR.
Okay. So if I go back to the tenant settings, again, it's initialized, I have a tenant, and now if I do demo, well, test2, prefix test2, and I select SQL Server, we used to be able to do something like this and say create, and we will have SQL Server pre-selected, and we'll have to enter the connection string at a tenant level at the setup. Now if you do create, it will prevent you if you use SQL Server which requires a connection string, you need to pass a connection string. Okay? And when I can paste also a table prefix if I want, but as soon as I have database presets, the setup can't change them. Not only it can't change them, even if you pass it as a form, but it's not even displayed there. Okay, so you can't see the connection string. So for security, it is much better. So you can create tenants for customers and they won't be able to see your connection strings, or change the predefined values of your connection strings. Okay. That. Well, it won't work. Let me fix something first, because I didn't specify a prefix, so it will fail. I can still change it. Ah. Okay, and if I go to the setup and submit, it works. Okay, so that's the improvement for these things. And if I go to this admin and I try to enable the tenants module, I can't. It's not there. It's not shown, and it's also checked on the server in case you try to hack the form. Good. So that's a new thing for this branch. What else? Let's see. Datetime. I want to see the datetime. It's running. It's still running. It might be still running. Yep. The date, not the datetime. So if I go content definition, article, edit, I should have a new field. Date field, datetime field, and time field. So in this case, I want to see the date field. That's weird. Oh, yeah, that's not weird. Sorry. Date field. I'm confused. Date. Hint. Blah blah. Okay. Save. And we have a date field. And if I select today and I save draft, it still works. Okay, beautiful. Okay. What else? Things to show here. Media UI, we've seen that last week. This is fixing a bug. This is a SQL. This I showed. Created datetime editor. How do I see that?
You write the common part on content type, and you create or edit an item.
Common part.
And then you add it, you edit it, you check display owner, display created date. Display editor.
Okay, cool. Can I do that?
Because admin2 is not an existing user.
Yeah, but I lost my...
Yes.
There's a bug. Because it's null, I can't set...
Yes.
Yeah, check on Orchard one, because there are very specific behaviors with CreatedUtc. I'm not sure you can reset it to null. it's null when you create a new element. And here, okay, that's expected. I can't see it because it should be null, but when I save the draft, so I won't say it, then a value, but I should not be able to reset it. I don't think so. Check on Orchard 1 to remove it. And it should also change when I publish it. So 12, 38, 32, but it might not be the editor, it's just the behavior. So if okay, 32, 8, 42. Okay, that worked. That works. Okay, the first time we publish it should update. Okay, that's the expected behavior. Good. This is nothing. And I think that's it. Okay. Does your solution work now?
Yes.
Good. Ready.
I'm gonna make a demo about what I wanted last week about using a Boolean field and choosing the switch editor. So it has been replaced by a CSS only
Cool.
Switch.
The hint is ugly.
Yes. Would you like to show it below?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yes, maybe.
Without the dash.
When it is a checkbox, it displayed. I can show you.
Yeah, it was on the right, yeah. With a dash, I know.
It's the default one, the standard.
Beautiful editors without changing the state of the field.
Yes, it's going.
Well, you see, well, fail.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So that's the first.
Did we merge it already? I don't think so, right?
No.
I commented on the PR. I want everything to be in the field. Unless it's an admin thing and then it's an admin CSS.
What do you mean?
If this is a feature that we want all over the admin to be available, then this is in admin CSS.
Yeah.
If
And
this
then
is a
I added these changes. So I moved it to the admin, and if you surround your input and left by a span class switch, you can use this kind of switch anywhere in the admin.
yeah, it's a big switch and it doesn't flow correctly with the other elements. So I'm kind of worried.
You can choose to say switch dash that all. It's a smaller one.
Yeah, as long as it flows correctly with the other form elements, I'm fine. It wasn't the case before. If you had a checkbox before, you see it was not flowing correctly.
Yes, yes.
So, or make it the default, I don't know, but at least in this editor.
I will check.
Okay, thank you.
Did I manage to switch content filters? So one other change is in the admin, the ability to filter by content type. So the first PR has been made by Simon, and I added the other filters. So if I apply, I will only see the client, and I can choose to only display the draft, for for example, or and it's kind of now it's not reloaded correctly. Yeah, I can choose to filter on the version status, and I can choose to sort by this date created, modified.
Does it work with paging?
Good question. I will try. And the other change is that we display the content type in the array. That's it.
That's nice until we have the content tree.
Yes. And the idea, I guess, with the content tree would be to have on the left.
Yes, so I'm not sure if this is in this menu or when we click on content items, we have a second row for the another menu. Like you see, manage content, the same size as the manage content title, or the same size as the menu on the left. That will show a tree of navigation or ways to filter, and then on the right again the list of content items. So, not sure how to render that.
I try to make it responsive.
Or it could be also integrated in the content items navigation on the left. Yeah, something like this. You see, yeah. Well,
depending on the size of the screen, you see, it's displayed vertically or 2 by 2 or default or zones. Yes. But we could maybe imagine that the filters are displayed in the left side zone. That would be called the sidebar. Maybe in the future I will make some tests.
Okay, good, thank you. What was to fix? Yeah, try the paging and then I will merge.
Yes.
I was looking yesterday, I was testing paging because someone mentioned an issue I couldn't write repro, and I found out that we don't expose the paging values in the settings. The max page and the page size, the default page size.
No, we don't.
Yeah, that should be easy to do. I will see if I have time, but it's not matter. Okay, good. Next. Topics. Release, Nick. What are we doing with the release?
When are we releasing?
Yeah, that's you. You decide.
How close do you think we are to releasing? How many weeks have we got?
Well, how many bugs do you intend to fix this week?
I can fix some if you need me to.
Ah, cool. So
I'm at uni, so I've got some time to do some.
So I triaged everything. I created a new release called Beta 3 so that we can release the Beta 2 and prioritize what we want on Beta 2. So if we look at issues, and you can see that Antoine fixed like 10 of them, I fixed 5 of them.
Can you show your screen?
Yes, I want to. Should I?
Yeah, show your screen so we can see.
I'm sharing, okay.
Because I don't believe you.
Okay, good. Oh, you can't see it.
No, yeah, wait for it.
Up, almost one left. Okay, everyone can see. So if we look at issues, there is a new Beta 3. Okay, with Beta 2 is what we want to ship for Beta 2. That is blocking. Yeah. Beta 3 is postponing. So Beta 2, we still have 22 open, and there were 32 yesterday. Okay, that's good thing. Some of them are documentation. You see still some documentation. Some of them already have PRs created also. They are all quite simple to fix. But it's work, so we need help. This one, for instance, is done already by Antoine. this one is done. So like 5 of them here are already done. Some of them are just verification. Some of them are important things to do. Importing Bootstrap. I think this one has been fixed also by Matthias. I have to check. Yep, okay. Yeah, why? I think you fixed it and it was marked as fixed. I don't get it. Oh, it was not closed automatically. Interesting. Yeah, this one also is fixed. Let me close it. There is another one. Matthias, if you know which one. There is a third one that should be fixed. Which one? This one? Nope. But yeah, so now just 20 and some of them are open. So this is a list of the things to fix to be able to ship beta 2. So I think we can do it in a week easily if everyone takes 1 bug, knowing that some of other people will take like 5 bugs in a row. That should be easy to fix, to have everything ready. We're on 2.1, we have tenants management. Apparently we had it also before, I have to check.
Are we feature complete? Are we feature complete for beta 2 now, yeah?
What?
We're feature complete, so we're not going to take any new big things in,
No.
right?
Unless that's been already approved, like this thing is ready, just waiting for a NuGet package assigned to beta 2, you see. For modules assigned to beta 2 also.
Okay, fine.
So it's not just that we need to make it work. This thing, if it's ready in the meantime, so the PRs that are open and we have verified, it's fine to get them.
Okay.
There is nothing here that could break anything. Just want to check the theme changes from Antoine. You see this thing we showed, we can just merge it. Documentation. This thing, I don't know. Yeah, this is Antoine fixing it, so I have to check that. This is a big one. This is a huge breaking change for existing website. But it's better to break things before than after. This is renaming a body part to HTML body part to be consistent with Markdown body part.
Okay. What's not right with it? Can we mention it?
Oh, I wanted to test before. I just created this morning.
Okay. Cool.
I haven't tried everything. Yeah, and look at if there is any other body part mentioned anywhere in the code, or yeah, find the obvious bugs. Yep, that's it. On my side, I have no more big features to create. Oh, this one I want to test also, the new templates. Antoine wasn't able to test it, so I want to test it before. And also maybe review the templates. I was not sure all the templates make sense as they are, but that's 2 different things, testing the feature and changing the templates. And that's it. This thing doesn't pass the test. Yep, that's all. So yeah, if everyone can take 1 bug, that will make things much faster. And as I mentioned in Gitter, if you don't know what to take, or if you want to try one by chance and you don't know what to do, just ping us on Gitter and we will help you fix the bugs. It will be faster than trying to do it by yourself if we get some help, at least to verify that a bug has been fixed. For instance, if you want to help documentation, reread the documentation PRs and say, no, I don't agree with that, or I missed that, and you can change it. You can also do PRs for PRs. Yep, any help. That's it. Goal being able to release beta 2 to be ready by the end of the week. We can check everything is working and release on Monday. It's just a matter of merging on master. Something else I will do also when releasing beta 2 is reinitialize all version numbers. If you look at the version number, I think we are on 6,000 something, and we will hit a limit at 9999. So that will be bad. So I will reset everything to 0, so that yeah, when I will expect no one to do any commit on any branch while I'm changing the numbers. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I can lock the repository completely. That's it. Questions?
No, thanks for aiming for the end of this week, Sebastian. I appreciate it.
You can help.
I will help.
Good.
I need to get my branch in a good state first, though, so that's what I'm doing.
Waiting to see what Jasmine is saying, and yeah, he can do that. Now less to fix because some of them already have PRs open. Lots of them already have PRs open. Some new issues might show up though, like these ones haven't been triaged. Like SQL queries with stable aliases, and well, this is a bug while he found a workaround. Documentation, that's fine. Can't find application start page. There he found the solution. Yeah, there is nothing blocking from this list, so that's good. And all these ones are triaged already. Yep. Good. Good. Okay. If no more questions, no new websites, no new topic, just focusing on raising a beta 2 on master, and that's it. Okay, good. Thanks everyone.
Cheers, guys.
See you on Thursday, and happy bug fixing.